Hey everyone. So this will be the second time I record this video because of interruptions on my phone. I just wanted to say that I told you guys something was going to happen. I told you guys. I was so on it. I was right. So yesterday I wrote posted a message. Shush. I posted a message about the number, dates, and the alignment of yesterday, 1/29/2019. Stop it. Why does everything have to make noise? 1/29/2019, you had two numbers of 2 and 9 that cancel each other out and become a 1 because we eliminate the 0 from 10. So yesterday's date was 1/11/11. 1/11/11. The last time that we had that combination of numbers, it was November, and it happened twice in November. So I'm just very blessed to say that I was very fortunate to have the gift to know the numbers, to decode the numbers, and to understand what it means when we collapse timelines. So November's, if you can say what happened in November, or you yourself, your embodiment that was in November, has now collaborated with, the time right now, which is January 2019. Excuse all the background noise. I don't know what that is. Anyways, I think it's my water bottle. So a lot of people think that dates and times on a calendar really means that we're just counting the days and months. But if there's really not a countdown or counting to something, then why do we have dates and times? Why don't we just be day to day? So everyone has to really think that when the dates are created and the times are created, it's really about trying to pinpoint these gateways and alignments. Like yesterday was a gateway. Excuse me, I had hiccups. Anytime you have numbers, numeric numbers that equal each other out, cancel each other out, or the common root of those numbers become 1 or 11, we have an infinite amount of possibilities. So anyways, if you guys think like the Matrix, the green numbers, the letters, the symbols going up and down, that's what happens. Our quantum matter, our physical matter, our solid matter that we are, those are all an element. And then when those numbers cross our path, they kind of enhance or integrate with our own Akashic records that are in our own body right now. We have our own Akashic records. Yes, they're not just one Akashic records. So anything that you've inherited, that you've downloaded, messages you received, etc., these gateways open the path for you to transmute those into your reality, and vice versa. They help the outer realms receive what we received as well. This is how everyone keeps up to date with each other on a metaphysical level. So that's all I really wanted to share with everyone, was I told you so. See, Chicago and all of the surrounding areas in the northern eastern part of America, they're colder than Antarctica right now, and the North Pole, which is weird. Why in the world would that part of our country in the United States ever in the history of its existence, shut up, why would that ever in the existence of our world would that be the coldest point? Because we're tilting. The tilt started yesterday. And if you can think of Chicago, Boston, New York, that whole region of the world, it's, let's say we're on a flat earth with a dome on top, right? That part of the world now is becoming, it's shifting to where it's going to be the new North Pole, in my opinion. Or it's just at a tipping point where it's wobbling, right? One part goes up. We are going down, so we're closer to the sun because the sun is in the solar minimum right now. It's the lowest point of its position right now. It could be opposite a year from now, or 6 months from now. I'm sorry, 6 months from now, it's summertime. We might get much cooler if we are wobbling. This is important to know because now you guys can see what's actually happening, and now you know that things are on a roll. Because I had mentioned something yesterday that the event is going to be in March. So there's a starting point of something that started yesterday. Anytime you have 1/11/11, and also that was my birthday, 1/1/11, because January 19th, 1 and 9 becomes 10. You cancel out the 0. You have 1/1/11. That was a reset. And then now we have the two numbers, 1/11/11, and then there's gonna be, actually that's it. There's no more. Usually what I did in, I think it was November, it was like a pattern where everything was going up a number. There was 1/11, and there was one. Oh, anyways, I digress. I say too much, you guys. I'm so sorry. The other thing I wanted to share with everyone was I figured out what was going on with me, and it's kind of weird to talk about this, but I was shared that there was called the Golden Eye Program. The Golden Eye Program took certain star beings and star seeds and light workers, and if you resonate with past lives, and if you were a saint, you went through this whole process of integrating with a form of a dark spirit, and it was a form of program to get people to I guess to see both sides of the retrospect. If you were, let's say, like, before the beginning of time, your soul wanted to make an agreement to come here on Earth. You wanted to become a human, help change the world. That's the whole Palladium message, right? You basically learned what it was like to be good in your first life. And this consciousness now is the dark side. We are on the dark side of ourselves. Even if you feel like you're a positive person, we're still facing some quite negative situations right now. So everyone's on the dark side of, what used to be, in general senses. And some of us were put into a program, and if I'm not crazy, this is what it was called. It was called the Golden Eye Program, and it was shared with me in I just kind of just knew that this was called that yesterday. And it said that it took certain beings and it put them on a particular experience of life where they were able to see and spy into the fourth dimension. Kind of like, the James Bond movie GoldenEye was about a double-crossing spy, right? Or we always know about the Russian spy, the double-crosser, the mole. Well, that's how we were. If we were too much into our own light and into our own journeys, being fully sanctified and righteous in our journeys, we couldn't have been able to extract a lot of this knowledge. Or we would have been detected by the negative forces, and we would have been eliminated from uncovering these secrets, if you may. So some of us were put in a situation on purpose, is what I'm just trying to say. Put in many, many, many situations on purpose. And whoever was sharing the message with me, whatever source of divine entity it was, it basically was telling me that it took certain stronghold of people. It like, not everyone could have done this. It had to have been particular people who were on a particular wavelength and a certain vibration and a certain height. And they were put on a very low vibration during their December experience. There is a weird looking fish-shaped symbol in the sky. I wonder if I can flip around and show you guys this. It is freaky. Am I tripping or what? Do you see a fish? Okay. Focus, camera, focus. It's right. Let me block that red out. See it? It's a perfectly shaped oval. Anyways, there's some strangeness going on. Like a friend of mine, he came to visit today, and he was just talking about how strange everything is. Like we were just talking about how that Empire character, I won't say his name because I don't want to cause too much controversy towards my channel, but the actor on Empire, allegedly he was in Chicago yesterday in the chilling weather, right? They were negative 55, including their wind. They were like negative 20 degrees, but then they had a wind chill of 33. So they were pretty darn cold. So I don't know how in the world someone could be walking around at 2 a.m. You know, there's no police footage of no surveillance on the street of him walking. And I'm not saying his story is false, but when you like accuse people of MAGA, Make America Great Again, and you're trying to influence people to hate Trump and hate Trump supporters, you're not helping. You're making everything worse, and it's putting an anchor towards we're trying to break through into a whole new, and the more that people resist, the more that people hold on to this F Trump mentality, they're the ones holding everyone back. Because unless you accept it, that he's there in the office, and you have to accept what his role is as a Mason, and the way he operates is backwards, you can't fear things right now. If it looks dangerous, it's in opposition. And also too, why Freemasons act the way they act right now, why they do what they do, is because we're in a so below universe, and we're trying to ascend to an as above. So it's not saying that people who are masonry or whatnot are evil. I don't know. I can't say that, and I can't say that all Masons are the Illuminati. It's all in different pieces. But anytime you guys notice that, like I watch people's videos and they'll say, "Oh, the Illuminati," I'm like, I wish you didn't say that. Just put the information out there and let people see the truth for what it is. Because sometimes we do need darkness to go to places where light cannot go. There's places that we cannot go. We can't vibrate to that low of a frequency. So someone's got to do it. So that brings me back to the GoldenEye project. The GoldenEye project selected certain people to drop into a very low frequency at a certain point. Because their light was dim, they were Archon to the max. But being Archon to the max, they were able to hijack information from those lower negative entities. And they were able to uncover hidden secrets and details and mysteries that only the lower dimensional beings were keeping from the light. So it was a mission. So I was talking about how I was having two different realities play out into one. I was dreaming of one, and that all plays out too in this whole simulation. It was a simulation of where in one world I am me right now, and in the other world I was my lower vibrational side of myself. A normal person who didn't have these gifts, who didn't know anything about all this. I was not a light worker in my other reality. I'm a normal person with a boyfriend and some roommates, and we cook on these weird flat plates, and we brush our teeth without fluoride, and I can tell you all the details. Our apartment building's in the sky. It's pretty far out, dude. And like I said, I go to this place all the time. Anyways, I'll let you guys go. I think I filled your minds with too much already, but we are entering Gateway. Like I said, if Chicago is my middle finger, we basically had waddled up. So California would be where my wrist is, right? Chicago or the East Coast would be up here where my middle finger is. So we basically tilted up. Where the North Pole would be where my thumb is, right? That sort of tilted down. So North Pole, which usually is the coldest spot, went down. So the East Coast is now temporarily the new North Pole, essentially. So that's all I really wanted to share with you guys. I told you we were entering another gateway of Vortex. So let's see what comes up next. Yeah. I think I can't think of the next day that this is gonna happen. I'm trying to think what happens in February. Not much. But anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. I'll talk to you later. Bye.